Imagine standing in the middle of a heavily secured bank vault, surrounded by millions in cash and priceless jewelry. The lights flicker, the alarm is silent, and you've just executed one of the most daring heists in history. But can you escape without leaving a trace? This is the story of one of the most complex bank robberies ever, where meticulous planning and a few human errors would decide the fate of millions. The bank targeted in this heist was not just any financial institution. It was a beacon of security and trust, located in the heart of a bustling city. Open for over 5 decades, the bank was known for its massive underground vault, containing untold treasures. But what seemed impenetrable was, in fact, vulnerable, as a team of skilled criminals would soon demonstrate. The group behind the heist was no ordinary gang. It was composed of specialists, each bringing unique expertise to the table. At the helm was a mastermind with a reputation for crafting flawless plans. He was joined by a tech expert, whose job was to disable alarms and hack into security systems. Then there was the tunneling expert, a genius in excavation, and a small team of field operatives to carry out the physical labor. Together, they formed a well-oiled machine with one goal: to rob the unrobbable. Their target was chosen with precision. The bank's location in a busy urban area provided cover, as the hustle and bustle made it less likely for passers-by to notice anything suspicious. Additionally, the vault's security relied on outdated systems that the criminals were confident they could outsmart. The only challenge? Executing their plan without attracting attention. Planning for the heist began months, possibly years, in advance. The team studied the bank's layout, security systems, and operational schedules. They identified a weak point, a direct underground path leading to the vault. Using high-tech excavation tools, they could dig a tunnel straight into the bank. To do this, they rented a property nearby, posing as ordinary tenants, and began their work in secrecy. As the days passed, the team continued their preparation and training, each member perfecting their role in the plan. They communicated securely, using encrypted methods to ensure that no one outside the group would get wind of their intentions. Tension began to mount as the date of the heist drew closer. Despite the flawless execution of their plans, there was a palpable fear that any mistake, however small, could bring everything crashing down. The night of the heist finally arrived. The team chose the long weekend, during which the bank would be closed for 3 days. This timing was perfect, as it would give them ample time to execute their plan without the risk of detection. They moved into position in the evening, transporting their equipment to the site and preparing to work quietly and efficiently underground. The first step of the plan was to disable the bank's alarm systems. This was no small task, but the tech expert had spent weeks studying the system and devising a device that would bypass it completely. Within minutes, the building was electronically blind. There would be no alarms to trigger, no monitoring system to alert the authorities. Next came the tunneling phase. The team had spent weeks preparing the underground passage, using tools specifically designed to minimize noise and vibrations, so as not to alert anyone in the building or nearby. The tunnel stretched from their rented property directly beneath the vault. On the night of the heist, they completed the final stretch and broke through the floor of the vault with remarkable precision. Once inside the vault, the team was faced with the daunting task of opening the high-security safes. These safes were designed to withstand almost any intrusion. However, the team had planned for this too. They had brought specialized drilling equipment to bypass the locks without triggering the security systems. Hours passed as they carefully worked their way through the safes, extracting millions in cash and priceless jewelry. Despite their careful planning, the heist was not without its challenges. At one point, a minor collapse in the tunnel threatened to expose the operation. The team worked quickly to stabilize the passage, knowing that even the smallest mistake could bring their entire plan to a halt. After hours of exhausting labor, the team emerged victorious. They had secured their loot and left no immediate trace of their presence. As dawn broke over the city, they disappeared into the chaos, leaving the bank staff and law enforcement completely unaware of what had just transpired. The heist was discovered the following morning when bank employees arrived and found the vault wide open with its contents gone. The police were called, and what they found left them completely baffled. There were no signs of forced entry, no security footage, and no obvious clues. It was as though the criminals had vanished into thin air. But every crime leaves a trail, no matter how small. Investigators began combing through the scene for any clues that might point to the culprits. It didn't take long for them to discover the tunnel. Though the entrance had been expertly concealed, a small piece of broken equipment left behind in the tunnel provided the first lead for law enforcement. Forensic experts analyzed the tool fragment and traced it back to a supplier who confirmed that similar equipment had been purchased by a man matching the description of one of the suspects. Armed with this information, the police began to piece together the puzzle. Meanwhile, the criminal team began to unravel. Despite their success, tension within the group started to mount. One member, unable to resist the allure of the stolen money, began spending lavishly, drawing unwanted attention. Another, overwhelmed with guilt, started to consider turning themselves in. Months of investigation finally led to a series of arrests. Some members of the gang were captured, while others managed to evade the authorities, their identities still unknown. The stolen money, however, was mostly recovered, though some of it remains unaccounted for to this day. The aftermath of the heist left many questions unanswered. How had such a complex operation been carried out without anyone noticing? What mistakes did the criminals make, and how could the bank have prevented such a breach in security? For the criminals, the heist was a mixture of brilliance and folly. Their planning was flawless, and their execution was nearly perfect. However, it was human error, greed, arrogance, and guilt that ultimately led to their downfall. For the authorities, the case served as a wake-up call. Security protocols were revised, and banks across the country invested heavily in more advanced systems. But no system is completely foolproof, and the heist remains a testament to the lengths people will go to in pursuit of wealth. And so, the story ends with a lingering question: can there ever be a perfect crime? Or will human nature always leave behind a clue? If you need more extensions or modifications, let me know.